Helen was also active in organizing the Christian Association Sewing Mission.
They set up sewing schools in factories, and they taught children, mostly girls, to sew. They also taught them hygiene. They also tried to make sure they had a decent meal. And in the dozen years that she was the principal teacher at the Zanesville Christian Association Sewing School, what she was doing was helping children who really didn't have much of a chance secure the ability to support themselves in the future.
In addition to countless other charitable works, Helen helped to establish and became a respected member of the Women's Benevolent Society.
At this time, the women of Zanesville were very interested in helping what they called the worthy poor, those people who needed just a little extra push to help them financially in some way. And these women were interested in getting together and paying dues of only $1 a person and starting some kind of a group that could help these folks who were poor.
It wasn't long before the Women's Benevolent Society appointed Helen to ward manager.
So she went out into the community, in her area of the community, and found people who needed assistance, whether it be financial assistance or whether it might be some kind of instruction that she could give or that she knew someone who could give.
It was at this time Helen met and became close friends with the town physician, Dr. McElroy.
For many years, he was a city physician for that ward. That may well have been when Helen first came in contact with him, because if she was working with the people in those wards in her outreach program that she ran, he would have been the physician that would have been looking after the people that she would come in contact with.
During the 1880s, Helen grew increasingly weak, slowly losing her battle with epithelial cancer.
When Helen's brother America died, he willed his property to his sister. She was by then suffering from cancer. She had an extraordinarily difficult death, suffering from cervical cancer. I think in the last years of our life, that what she is living is what people from my religious tradition call a life of heroic virtue. She's dying and she knows it, but she's not sitting around saying, poor little me. She is doing what she's always done. She's getting up, she's going out, she's working, she's taking care of people. She's taking care of people less fortunate.
In 1885, she came to the realization that her time was quickly growing short. With $7,500 in funds, Helen instructed Dr. McElroy to draft a will.
In her will, which was extraordinary, but not unremarkable, because Helen's mentor or role model, Sarah Van Horn, had also left money for the care of indigent women in Zanesville. She willed her estate to the care of women without support, as long as they were women of good reputation who had attempted to take care of themselves. This was an act that she did, directed her physician, her longtime personal friend, Dr. McElroy, to do. Dr. McElroy wrote the will.
My purpose is to provide a shelter for the unfortunate who are both worthy and deserving. I further direct that the institution shall be strictly religious in its daily routine of life, but to be without denominational preference. I cherish the hope that my mite may be added to by others, by gifts, donations, subscriptions, or bequests, so as to make the institution permanent and enable it to expand, so as to satisfy every demand upon it for admission. I am witness whereof I have hereunto signed my name the 26th day of March, A.D. 1885.
Helen sadly passed on May 31st, 1885. The minutes of the Women's Benevolent Society record that a moving eulogy entitled A Tender Tribute to Miss Helen Purcell was soon after published in the Zanesville Courier.
It is fitting and proper that a special tribute should be paid to Miss Helen Purcell as an active member of the Women's Benevolent Society, with which society she worked zealously and faithfully ever since its organization. As one of its appointed ward visitors, she distributed the funds placed at her disposal wisely and efficiently. When it was possible, she attended the meetings for the transaction of business, where she could always render valuable aid because of her extended knowledge of those continually applying for relief and assistance. To the suffering poor, she was a kind and judicious friend, endeavoring to show them the better way, both for this life and that to come. For in an eminent manner, she lived her religion, and thus, by her example, led them on, whither our Savior Christ has gone before. The graces of humility and charity shone all her life. And from him who has said, "He that humbleth himself shall be exalted," she has received her reward so faithfully won. And at the end of this tribute, the initials E.T.H., and I assume that was the secretary of the society at that time. I think this is a beautiful tribute to the memory of Miss Helen Purcell, which was written in the Courier.
The years following Helen's death were spent disputing her final wishes in court. Several of her relatives filed a lawsuit against Dr. McElroy and Muskingum County, questioning the validity of Helen's will.
They brought it to court, and this was quite a landmark law case on whether or not you could will your property away from blood relatives to a charity. The jury took 1 hour to decide she had perfect right to do what she wanted with her money.
On May 17, 1905, the Helen Purcell home opened its doors to the women of Zanesville. This woman, faceless to the present, survives in the hearts of those who have benefited by her strength of character, her decisions, her foresight, and her hope. Our mission continues to be to respect the last wishes of Helen Purcell, to care for and honor those women who unselfishly dedicated their lives toward helping in the betterment of Zanesville. Hundreds of benevolent women have chosen to enter our home so that they may joyfully, as well as faithfully, live life to its fullest.
Helen saw the need for a place for these women who needed to be taken care of in a very delightful setting.
I think that Helen's mission and purpose in life to bring charity and care and well-being to people in need became her desire and the desire of a community that is growing and still is.
The greatest story of her life is the final gift she gave, which is a gift of money that was to be used to help other people, other women, live a life of dignity.